After Charlie confirmed that he was in the year 1894, he turned towards the ticket windows, knowing that from the third level he could buy tickets to anywhere in the United States. It was the year 1894. He wanted to purchase two tickets, one for himself and one for his wife Louisa, and he wanted to travel to Galesburg, town of Illinois State. Now, why he wanted to go to Galesburg? Let's find out that. Town of Galesburg in 1894. According to him, Galesburg was a wonderful town with big old frame houses, huge lawns, and tremendous trees whose branches meet overhead and roof the streets. He again talked about the social setup, how peaceful life was, people had to spend with each other. In 1894, summer evenings were very long at Galesburg. People had huge lawns and they used to sit in their lawns. Men would be quietly talking while smoking cigars. Women would be weaving a palm leaf hand fan to help them against the heat. There would be fireflies around. There was a peaceful atmosphere, full of tranquility, far away from the tension and anxiety of the present world. That is, that is how Charlie pictures the Galesburg town. As I have already told you that 1894 is a year before the two world wars took place, and people at that time were not engulfed with fear of war or any kind of insecurities, unlike Charlie's time when the modern world is full of insecurities, fear, war, worry, etc. And that's why he wanted to escape to Galesburg of 1894, which is more peaceful than the present time. He approaches the wooden ticket window and asks for two tickets to Galesburg, but something weird happened. The clerk calculated the total fare. He looked at his fancy band. He looked at the Charlie's fancy band on the head with amusement, as he had not seen such type of straw hat because people in 1890s used to wear derby hats, as we have already discussed yesterday, that hats were in fashion. But still the clerk calculated the fare. Charlie had enough money with him for two coach tickets. To board the coach, you need a coach ticket for that particular journey. So Charlie had enough money with him for two coach tickets for one-way journey. But when Charlie counted out the money and gave the currency notes to the clerk started staring at him angrily. Why? Let's find out. He told Charlie, "That ain't money, mister," he said, "and if you are trying to skin me, you won't get very far." The clerk looked at the currency notes. He told that these notes were not acceptable, and if Charlie was trying to cheat him or annoy him, he would not get far away, and threatened Charlie that he was going to call the police if Charlie didn't go right now. Then Charlie looked at the drawer near him because he was confused why the clerk was angry with him instead of giving him money also. Then Charlie understood. The notes in the drawer were of old style. Charlie understood that he was having a different set of coins and money and a different currency that was prevalent in the modern times. He didn't realize that the currency that was in use in 1894 was different, and hence the clerk scolded him, thinking that Charlie was trying to cheat him by giving him fake currency. And at last Charlie was not able to buy two tickets for Galesburg. Students, please underline the line, "That ain't money, mister," he said, "and if you're trying to skin me, you won't get very far." Please underline that line. Then moving on, the currency notes used in 1894 were old-style bills half as big as the notes that Charlie was using. That means size of those notes was about 1.5 times the size of notes we use nowadays. Charlie then turned away and get out of the third level as fast as possible because he hated the idea of going to the prison even in 1894. According to Charlie, he left the same way he had entered the third level, and this was his experience at the third level. Now let's see what happened after that. Now let's see what did Charlie do. The very next day, when he came back from the third level, the very next day, he rushes to a bank during his lunch break and he withdrew almost all the saving which he had, that was almost $300, and he was able to buy less than $200 in old style bill currency of the 1890s. One can buy old currency at any of the coin dealer, but one has to pay more to buy old currency. The $300 brought less than $200 of old currency notes of 1890s, which had really worried his psychiatrist friend Sam. But he didn't mind. But Charlie didn't mind because in 1894 the $200 would have more value as things were much cheaper than they are in Charlie's time. He gave an example. In 1894, price of eggs was 13 cents per dozen. Charlie was excited by the possibility of catching a train from the third level to the beautiful town of the Galesburg of 1894. He just wanted to escape from the worries, anxieties, insecurities, war of modern world and settle in the era of 1890s where life is simpler and peaceful. That is why he had spent his entire saving just to buy the old currency notes so that he can buy the tickets to Galesburg of 1894. Although now Charlie had the old currency notes, but unfortunately he could never again find the corridor which led him to the third level to buy tickets to Galesburg. Many times he tried to find out the corridor, but he could not locate it.